Let's do some easy rage content.
Low hanging rage content.
We won't watch all of this, but I've wanted to see a little bit of it.
What is transphobic language?
I don't know.
Tranny?
Yeah.
What they chose to be called for like forever?
You were right, dude. You called it. I did not want to. Remember, you're like before we were. I was like, "Do you want to watch this?" That's exactly what he starts with.
Because I've seen YouTube. I've been watching. All I watch is YouTube for entertainment. I don't watch movies and I don't watch TV ever at all. So I see all these videos.
Yeah.
I do it through the lens of
That's a blogger.
At the very least, I somehow tie it into things that I've addressed in the past that are in that vein. That is not going to be the case here. No geeky tie-in, no angle, just the straightforward situation. Depending on who you interact with in your life or online, you may have already heard the term transgenocide, but it could just as easily be a new term to you.
I wish I never heard it. I wish I never heard any of this.
It's a new term because it's made up.
Trans people.
This isn't in his feed. We've seen this faggot before. What's up, Dick? But
at large, and there's a very good chance that the phrase strikes you as hyperbolic. I mean, trans people aren't being herded into camps. They aren't being exterminated by the government. You may also find
it's not genocide.
A word like genocide to refer to a few pieces of legislation, and a few states kind of dilute the power of that word. It's also possible you're wary of the term because the last time a term with genocide in it started to see any kind of wide use in this country, it was a few years back with white genocide, a bunk conspiracy narrative that postulated non-whites were going to breed white people out of existence, or at the very least out of being the demographic.
Well, no, they're not going to breed them out of existence. They're just going to import them here from the third world.
Oh, that's a conspiracy theory, though. I love how this faggot puts it in quotes.
It's happening.
But you know what? You know what is genocide? Passing legislation that doesn't allow children to have their genitals mutilated. Isn't that fun? That's genocide.
In the U.S. and similar.
What's up, Bond?
It was rooted in classic white nationalist rhetoric, and yes, that instance absolutely did dilute the meaning of the word genocide. But I also kind of suspect that that's part of why the concept didn't.
Dude, I don't even remember that.
Mainstream, and
I mean, it's been around. White genocide's been around.
Since had to be rebranded.
No, I know, but I don't even remember that moment in history when that was being thrown around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People
giving a little bit of side eye to the term transgenocide. The intended audience for this video are people who
Stephen King cubed. What's going on?
Who may think that trans activists are kind of going overboard with how they talk about just a couple.
All right, I don't want to slow this down, but he's like a fucking gerbil here. All right, do it at 1.2.
Laws in places. This video is not addressed to anyone who already believes that trans people are actually dangerous, are a threat to women by their presence, are inherently predatory, or are looking to convert minors. I frankly don't know how to address those people, nor is it really safe for me to attempt to do so.
Safe.
If you already consider yourself an ally, or you yourself are trans, you may also find this video helpful.
So you're afraid to participate in dialogue you don't agree with?
Articulate to others what it is that has been going on. And while I could try and take a more complete view of the scope of things and talk about what's going on.
You're talking about like Iran? Yeah, in Iran, Iran, they like force you to have a sex change if you
it's crazy.
I don't know, like they're like, oh, you're gonna go through with it. You by like force of a gun, you're gonna go through with it.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. I remember seeing something on that like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Where the parliament
was like,
passed a bill that criminalizes identifying as literally anything other than heterosexual and cisgender, which did in fact happen while I was working on the script for this video. But I know that
it's Uganda. What are you going to do about it, bud?
And it's a common instinct to see what's happening.
The United States has no foreign policy in Africa, and it's just basically just left to do what they want. So it's kind of like an
well, except just dumping fucking aid, giving them tons of aid so they keep fucking populating.
Moreover,
yeah, it's like a weird experiment they're running over there.
It's a dangerous experiment.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck the elite are doing.
Occurring around the world, or to ignore what has happened in years prior, but simply to grant this specific video a narrower focus for the sake of clarity with the intended audience.
What's that frog thing in the sweatshirt?
I have no idea. Something gay.
I do not.
Does it have
I've said it before.
The French flag or the Russian flag on it?
I have the same exact Totoro plushie that I got for my wife like years ago. Hate that I have. Totoro. Hate that that's on the fucking. I hate that, dude. That Fozzie bear though, I love that Fozzie. That's an old Fozzie bear.
Yeah,
is my voice. I hope to avoid hypotheticals and what if scenarios. I'm not going to get into the recently gained insight about who is forming these laws and how they've been going about it. And I do not intend to single out any specific individuals by name, be they politicians, public figures, or other creators. It is my
Cards on deck
to deal with very simple facts that should not be in dispute.
Probably the frog's probably holding a die later.
Established, the question I hope to address is this: does what is happening to trans people across the U.S. constitute the use of the word genocide? Now,
this nigger's gonna do a fucking slideshow.
Because to look at how the term is used,
it can't constitute the word genocide if it's not, if there's not.
No, watch this troon jump through hula hoops to fucking.
Really ever taught about one genocide?
If nobody's dying, then there's not a genocide occurring.
American students are rarely, if ever, taught about the genocides that took place between World War II and the present in places such as Myanmar, Darfur.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
That is fair.
Though.
Like it's just the Holocaust.
Republic of Congo, India, Cambodia, Algeria, and many.
Rwanda. How can you not say Rwanda?
How are you not going to bring up Yugoslavia? How are they not going to bring up the Kosovo?
I mean, I guess yeah, but like Rwanda's like the most like.
I know, but like, dude, Kosovo was like 30 years ago. It was.
Yeah, that's
it happened while this dude was in school.
They think showers where people were gassed to death en masse, and while
we were there, like we had NATO was involved.
The form that genocide can take.
Whoa, is he downplaying the Holocaust? Base.
Yeah, all of a sudden. I'm on this guy's side.
Whoa, base tranny.
This is extremely important to understand.
Dude, it's going to get to that point.
Of what genocide even is. And if you're worried I might be trying to redefine the term to include more things, allow me to provide you the 5 acts that constitute genocide against a group, as adopted.
As he lists these, just think about white people in America.
By the UN General Assembly in 1948.
Listen to this.
1. Killing members of the group. 2. Causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group. 3. Deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. 4. Imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. 5.
Holy shit.
Forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. We're going to go.
There's other that I've never heard those are the specific reasons for a genocide. Like that's not
a genocide. I think that might be. I think he's misconstruing that, and that might be like some signs to look out for that the UN has laid out for like.
I thought the UN's ones were completely different.
They are.
That definitely counts as a hate crime. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, it's like totally different.
That doesn't constitute a genocide. That's
of what legislation has either already been passed.
It's like a targeted killing of like a group based on like race, religion, or.
Well, it's. I think maybe that's the act of the genocide. I think maybe he's right, but I'm thinking of like what leads to a genocide.
Well, I think that's kind of what he's.
I don't know.
But that is not what we were taught in school.
International criminal courts, genocide is taken against national, ethnic, racial, or religious groups.
Okay, this is what
potential prosecution by the international
genocide is. It's not those 5 other things.
Sexual orientation aren't currently.
This is the definition of genocide.
The strictest legal definition.
Okay, so he's basically admitting that it's not.
Okay, yeah. He just admitted that the legal definition of genocide does not include sex.
I suggest to you that a group of people being subjected to any of those 5 activities for things they cannot change about themselves.
Yeah, the National Shooters Manifesto is never coming out.
Such as being gay or transgender or intersex should be viewed as that group being the target of genocide as a practical matter, even if it is not considered to be that as a matter.
The Tranny-festo.
If you're not willing to go that far, then at least I hope you'll.
I mean, it doesn't need to be released. We all know what's in there. You know what I mean?
Making clear what group these actions are being taken against, and makes
what's up, Tasered?
Potentially accurate descriptor.
Ortho.
If these 5 actions can be demonstrated as being taken against trans people. So
imagine waking up one day deciding you want to look like the ugly librarian that everyone hated with those mean.
First, there is the most obvious act: killing members of the group. Again, this is what most Americans will think of when they think genocide. And at present, while there is a great deal of violent rhetoric these days, in this country at least, there is no proposed legislation which would impose the threat of death upon trans people for being trans. We could get
hold on. What's the upload date on this? 3 weeks ago? So this is like right after a fucking tranny shot like 3 fucking kids. 6 people, but 3 kids. Okay. Unreal.
The legislation that is in play promotes and empowers general hostility and creates a climate that encourages more and more people to take violent action against people who are trans. And the statistics bear out that this is already occurring.
Yeah.
But since it's not actually being proposed legislatively, for the sake of clarity and to avoid muddying the waters, set the act of killing members of the group aside. The other one we can set aside
Stephen King 4 is here.
Imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. There are, at present, no proposals that I am aware of that push for the sterilization of trans people. And they're likely...
Yeah, he's just BTFOing himself. Why is he even doing this video? Trans genocide. Oh yeah. I'll give it to him. He's just like, in the end, he's just like, oh no, trans people aren't being genocided. I'll give him credit for that. I don't think he's going to, but
I mean, they kind of are. But listen to my logic. It's because they're getting the surgeries. It's just it hasn't happened. They're all gonna. It's just gonna be like a suicide. It's not.
Oh, you mean like they're killing them? Well, not all of them are fucking.
But it's gonna happen probably pretty quick, or just the slow death of them over like a lifetime of like medical.
Yeah. Well, that's why they need.
You know what I mean?
It's a like social contingent. That's why it needs to be like perpetuated.
That's on them by doctors, not by us. The doctors are the ones that are committing the genocide, not us. The ones doing the surgeries.
No, also themselves too. Yeah. I don't know if you want to get doinked up to this tab, but you will for everything.
We're not doing anything. I'm against it. So like I'm against them doing the surgery. So I'm against the genocide.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Are by no means safe. In the current climate, the focus of legislative measures, as well as rhetoric against trans people, has focused very heavily on trans women. The most
I think it's just going to be the
masculine to a feminine state.
Looked at like the hippies were, just as a movement that took off for about a decade and then fizzled out, and it's just like, oh, there goes a dirty old tranny.
Dude, don't. Oh well, yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying.
That's being very like generous. Like, don't undersell it like that, because this is different than the hippie movement, man.
I don't think that it's sustainable though, because of
it's not sustainable. No. It's not sustainable, but it's gonna just morph into like something even worse.
Probably just mass suicides.
Base 303 dropping Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike.
Oh, dude!
Someone post the Albert Pike, Pepe. I know that's a sticker on here.
One of my big mistakes was I never bought a copy of that. And when I mean a copy of that, I was going to get a copy from like the 1800s or early 1900s for like $100 or $200 online at one point. I really wanted it.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. And it's obvious. Like it's going to lead into like just pedophilia acceptance. There it is. There's the it's like this is where it's going. It's obvious.
Well, this was all like thought out in a think tank where they'll like we'll do trannies, we'll do bestiality, and then we'll hit the kids, and then we can start fucking kids in public.
They are rarely singled out, and thus far haven't been in these proposed laws, so far as I am aware. As with
the zoophilia, have you noticed the zoophilia is kind of ramping up? You're hearing about it more and more, about more and more of these people being zoophiles, being out in the open about it. A few years ago, you never heard about it.
Yeah, but I think they've always kind of been around, like as far as just like. Degenerates.
But now,
normalized.
You're hearing it. It's being more normalized.
That leaves us
where by normalizing it, I mean more and more are coming out and like being exposed. But that's almost just the normalization process. You know what I mean? Because after a while, we're just like, oh yeah, those are just zoophiles.
Meet the criteria of
genocide. Yep, I've heard about them. Yep, they're gross. We're gonna do anything about it, and it's like, no, we're not gonna do anything about it. It's just like, okay.
You don't have to do them all. Also, I'll remind you that the acts need not be taken against the entirety of the group, but merely against members of the group for the strict reason that they are members of that group. So, the fact
but that's not genocide.
Talking about is specifically targeting only
zoophilia has been around a while. I just mean they're going to try to fucking.
Zoophilia has been around since man's been around.
Yeah,
that's not an endorsement of zoophilia. I'm just saying.
Would still qualify.
So is gay. So is fucking pederasty and
people
fucking
eating cow poop. Yeah,
I'm going to start citing specific laws, either proposed or passed. I will not be able to be anything close to comprehensive about this, both because there is an ongoing flood of these, and any attempt at a complete list would be out of date as soon as it was uploaded, and also because there's been nearly 400 bills targeting LGBTQIA+ people in general or trans people.
No, they've been targeted to try to save kids.
Yeah.
I will cite specific bills and the states.
I mean, they should go after adults too. Like just make the surgeries illegal, like all around. Like it needs to just like You should not be allowed to mutilate yourself like that. Like, it is fucked. It is not. It's the same thing as like a lobotomy, pretty much. It's a fucked up medical procedure.
Yes,
it should be illegal all around.
Which they have been proposed.
It pretty much is a lobotomy, but like kind of like it's like a libido-botomy, because then they just are just ruined. You know what I mean?
I give, there will be dozens, if not hundreds, of comparable proposed bills in other states. It's possible that some
the amount of these people that come forward after and are like, yeah, I have no sexual urges ever, or desires, or feelings, or response. It's like, that's fucking horrifying. That's fucking weird.
Relevant to the discussion regardless, because it is illustrative of the intent of those pushing these bills and the current climate.
It's like, well, at least you're a chick, right? Right?
So, let us get back to our remaining 3 acts of genocide and address causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group. 2 relevant laws to bring up around an act such as this would include Georgia Senate Bill 140 and South Dakota House Bill 1080, both of which ban gender-affirming medical treatment for trans youth. It's worth noting that these bills do...
Why don't you say what that is? They always say gender-affirming care. Say what that is. Say what the gender-affirming care is. Ripping out some fucking 13-year-old girl's tits?
Who just got them, who doesn't want them because they don't know what's going on, because they're confused because they're 13
and they're being fucking indoctrinated hard with fucking propaganda.
And they just don't want to grow up. They just still want to stay a kid.
They ban their use strictly for the purposes of gender affirmation. So if, say, a minor is diagnosed with central precocious puberty, they may be prescribed leoprolide acetate to slow development. But a minor prescribed
even that
dude, does that sound okay?
No, it's fucked up.
Not desire,
you know what I mean? Does that sound okay? Like, remember back in the day when parents used to get pissed when the doctors would try to push drugs on their kids?
Treating them, they will not be prescribed those medications.
It's not the same thing. It's much worse. But like, I'm not even for like
that they are trans and know
putting like kids on like fucking ADHD medication and shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That was the fight in the 90s. Was parents? Some parents were super against that,
and will cause potentially
and rightfully so,
resulting in both mental distress and physical traumatic changes, the ramifications of which will be that those youths will try and undo that with HRT once they are legally adults, at least in some states, because there are laws like Oklahoma Senate Bill 129, which renders illegal.
Dude, just stay out of Oklahoma then.
For trans individuals until they are 26.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, but that's not how That's not how progressives are, man. Like, they have to have complete control. Complete control.
Totalitarianism.
Which is why the right needs to stop fucking being like, oh well, like, no, like, it's time. You gotta fight back.
Traumatizing forced detransition. Forcing trans people to remain in or return to a life, a body, and a hormone balance that causes them physical, emotional, and mental distress fits very cleanly into causing serious bodily harm or mental harm to members of the group.
Yeah, Republicans are gay.
Next, we have...
I mean, I don't know. Like, they've been passing...
A lot of them are.
But they've been passing these bills, so, I mean, you got to give them a little bit of credit. Like, trust me, I fucking hate the Republican Party as much as the next guy. And they are mostly useless.
These are like
but
the state houses. These aren't like the people going to Washington.
You know what I mean?
These are the people that are going to their state house from their little bumfuck towns. You know what I mean?
These laws forward, and I said I was not going to do that. But I feel that enough of these laws at least brush up against this act that it warrants discussion, even if it's the least clear-cut instance that I will be addressing going forward.
That's a good point, Rampart.
This is where we can bring up Tennessee Senate Bill 3. Otherwise,
it was different back then when Teddy Roosevelt was around.
Officially, the bill classifies...
I mean, it's a completely different party anyways. The parties...
And like, I think the parties basically merged probably 40 or 50 years ago. You know what I mean? They're doing the same thing. They're working
It's like,
the same.
I fucking hate... like, nothing makes me angrier than like some fucking retard conservative who like talks about like, you know, like the whole Democrats are the parties of the KKK. Oh, they don't know about their history. It's like, they don't fucking care, you fucking retard. It's not the same party. It's this.
It's like it's 150 years ago.
You stupid fuck. I like that for some reason. Like, those people are like just they're a lost cause.
Party? What about the Whig Party?
Let's bring back the anti-Freemason party. You know, that was a party back in the early 1800s.
I'm joining up. And you know what? They probably got blown the fuck out because this country's full of them. And they're
they didn't. That That was cool. Like, but there used to be much more variety in the parties.
And there used to be
back in the
people
day.
who were like, "Fuck these Freemasons."
Yeah.
There's like none of that nowadays. There used to be a lot of that. A lot of people just randomly throughout history would stood up and be like, "Fuck these guys."
Yeah.
Herman Goring. For some reason, just hated them.
Impersonators as adult cabaret entertainers, grouping them.
Well, I think it was outlawed in the Reich, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Exotic dancers and bans them from performing in any space where.
And I mean, JFK wanted to ban it.
In other words,
well, not ban it, but just not,
function as a ban.
Put a lid.
But it's
just come on, guys, come on. Come on, fellas, let's work together.
As he's getting his dick sucked.
Yeah. Like,
come on.
The podium.
Come on.
Does not allow for the changing
What's up, Tasty?
gender markers on birth certificates. It will be possible for a legal argument to be made that any trans
Orthodox still holding out hope for Ye and Fuentes.
Impersonator, since
gotta let it go, man. It's done.
They are no longer the gender that
it's been done. It's been done.
Fails to define what a performance is, leaving any individual
it's over
to decide if.
I mean, we're not gonna the Democrats are the party of the KKK.
Creates a legally fragile situation.
They don't know about their history. Shut the fuck up. Your fucking ancestors were probably Democrats.
That the safest
you probably don't even know.
Is for them to flee the state.
Like, and it's like, who knows? Like, my ancestors weren't even in the United States during the Civil War.
No.
Conditions of life.
Like, I'm pretty
some
sure
of our ancestors are.
Well, on my mom's side, on my dad's side, my ancestors were in Europe until like the mid 1800s, late 1800s.
I feel, at the very least, it warrants consideration.
RFK Jr. is pretty base, but he's not based enough for me to want him. There's still a lot of stuff I don't. He's still just a Democrat.
Yeah, I just don't.
And a Kennedy.
Like, you could put fucking.
He's done good work though, but he was also on Epstein's flight list, so.
You could put anybody. You could put Nick Rochefort up there. He's saying he's running for president. I'd be like, I'm not voting. There's no reason. It ain't happening.
Dude, 2024 is like I don't think there's ever gonna be
a worse election.
It grants
I don't think there's ever gonna be a Republican president ever again. I think it's done.
I just think the elections are just going to get worse and worse somehow.
Just become more and more like transparently corrupt and
where it's
I mean, also,
like,
but it is demographics too, and it's just like it's done.
Even if it
they've gerrymandered the hell out of it, so it doesn't matter. Like, they're going to get the candidate they want to win.
The practical upshot of this
in the races they want them to win in.
Divorce or unwed, and one parent has full.
It'll be fun to watch Trump just sort of do his bit again, I guess.
The parent with no custody rights.
Yeah, I mean, it would just for entertainment. Just because what is happening now is just so unfunny.
Trans-affirming care. The law specifically lays out that this would be the case even if the parent with custody resides outside.
You know what people are saying, and I'm sure it's going to happen. It's
that trans-affirming care.
I don't know.
It is only necessary
if Biden wins. He'll probably die in office, and then we'll get Kamala.
Gender-affirming care.
And then after Kamala,
there need only
we're probably going to get. I feel like Gavin Newsom, right?
And receiving affirming care.
No,
dude, he's gonna be president. I'm telling you, he's gonna be president one day, and that's gonna be the end. Like that's gonna be the end of the republic. It's gonna turn into just an empire of just.
I was talking to a antique dealer who told me that I'm one of the only people he's ever talked to that
if a parent
thinks the way
they would be
that he does about the world, because I've talked about certain things. And we were talking about how California is the plan for the rest of the country.
Oh yeah,
it's just they had to test it on one state before they could fucking import it throughout the rest of the country. Just banning any self-sufficiency. So like, bye gas stoves. Oh, you want to be able to cook without the use of an electric stove? Too bad. Like, just crazy shit like that.
As a governor's director,
I'm telling you, because he's got it. He's got that like
consider parents and families
that presidential sort of like
child abuse.
Yeah, and that's what they
aura. You know what I mean? But he's efficient too.
Natural outcome.
You can tell it.
And he's young, dude. I'm telling you, when he's going to be president, and it's going to be
to remove that
fucking it's going to be terrifying. It's gonna it's gonna be the final
second in command.
They're just gonna disband the republic. Like it's not gonna be. The states are just gonna be completely powerless. Everything's gonna be federalized.
Maybe we'll get to fight for a new one at that point.
from.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully,
I'd rather
I guess.
I'd rather fight and die.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, it's not worth it.
Like at least it's like worth. Like it's more like
these trans kids
worth
so are they really being taken away from that group?
dying for a cause than just living for nothing at this point.
That the parents not being trans.
What's up, friendo?
Even knowing that I'd lose, who cares? That's how just downtrodden I am, and just like no hope for the future, no investment in this country in the future. Where it's just like, yeah, I'd fight a losing war against the government, whatever.
Be raised.
Yeah, if you get to kill people like this.
Those people and
exactly.
Those beliefs,
yeah, line some of these guys up. Send some of them out. Who are you gonna send?
What the hell is this person doing with his editing? Why is he like? What's up with this fucking
purpose? Even if those parents themselves are not trans. So there we have it. 3.
Has anyone been paying attention as Prophet and I have been ranting?
Just ranting.
What is he explaining it?
Criteria that are
we might as well finish it.
Being met or being approached by proposed or already enacted.
Exactly, rant. Or who's talking? Who's just spamming in the chat right now, going off?
In the, US
the big switchler.
Genocide. These laws and directives, and many that I haven't even spoken about, both individually and collectively, are an attempt to commit genocide against trans people. I deeply hope that I have demonstrated that. And there are some states attempting
why not?
to go in the other direction, such as Minnesota, with the proposed bill.
Yeah, I don't think.
Did you see the thing in bill?
Ever.
Did you? I didn't mention. Did you see this bill in Minnesota where they're taking like what is it like taking pedophilia? Someone in here probably saw it. It's like they're taking like pedophilia, like the definition of pedophilia or something. I don't know. Hold up, I'll find it.
A refuge for those fleeing prosecution for being trans in other states. In Canada, while it is in fact already permitted for people to seek asylum to flee persecution on the basis of gender identity or sexuality,
persecution. Give me a fucking break.
Oh my goodness.
Strengthen and fully codify.
Nah, make war. If this is the alternative, make fucking war.
In the U.S. But understand that these actions do not balance.
These people are demons. It's gonna be a holy war. It's a holy war. It really is.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing. It's at this point I'm fighting against evil.
Yeah.
It's not even like I will take. Like I did the right thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Already stated his intention to strip.
Doesn't matter
for transgender people as part of his official election.
I'm not looking to get into heaven, but I will fight the enemies of what is good.
Oh, you should try to get into heaven.
But truly,
well, I'm not.
Come to Christ, brother. Come to Christ.
I'm just looking to
because it's already
fight the evil. I don't need any salvation. I just know there's evil that needs to be destroyed.
I could bring up.
I'm happy
that other groups,
but I'm unhappy about that.
Same tactics could be used against, such as cisgender gays and lesbians, are going to be at risk soon if they're not already. I could point out the parallels between what we've already seen happen in other genocides around the world, historical and current. I could bring up the fact that an invited speaker at one of the most influential conservative events in the country called...
Oh shit, I just dropped all my fucking penny sleeves. God damn it, there's like fucking 100 of them.
Met with applause.
100 pennies?
Shouldn't
penny sleeves, dude. Dude, I got a bunch of fucking like cheap Pokemon cards. Like,
oh yeah.
Common, uncommon cards for like fucking 15 cents a card.
Government doesn't.
Like, I'm talking. I got like 1,000 of them, dude. I got to sleeve them up so I can start listing them tomorrow.
Their quality.
That fucking sucks.
And people who hate us feel empowered to assault and kill us because.
Rampart, you never walk alone when you have Jesus on your side.
Think of us as deserving of anything.
It's true.
Not even.
Not Muhammad though. He'll abandon you.
At the end of 2022, the Human Rights Campaign noted an epidemic of violence against trans people.
Wait, what's up, BBC?
34 trans people were killed. Not died, were killed.
Marcus deleted his stream? What, did he rage quit? What's up with people not being able to fucking handle Realms?
What happened? Wait,
it's like
what do you mean?
man fucking
stream on Realms?
Well, I follow Marcus on Twitter. He's like, catch me live on Rumble and Kick. And it's like, all right. Why not Realms though?
What was that thing about him making $500 dancing?
I don't know. I like Marcus, but I do agree. I like Marcus solo, you know. I like having him on the show every once in a while, but he doesn't quite gel with us like like BBC or Mantis does, you know.
Well, it'd be like
he doesn't quite get the dance, you know what I mean? He doesn't quite get it.
And those may not seem
I also
like big numbers.
think his voice is,
but I want you to hear their names.
Very
because they weren't statistics.
Different than the rest of ours. I don't know how to describe it.
They were Amarie Lei, Duval Princess.
What?
Duval Princess.
Chris Ramos.
Oh no.
Okay, okay. These are all black trainees, and I guarantee they were all killed by black men. These were all prostitutes.
Beat to death. What is it called when they accidentally? What's it called? Ghosting. What is it when they?
I don't know.
Find out they're a tranny after they've tricked them. It's like a term. And
Eddie Murphying.
And they get beat.
Yeah,
what
Eddie Murphying. Well, that's too bad about Marcus. I don't know why he has to.
Is it ghosting, or is that when you just
delete
stop
his
talking
account
to somebody?
The ghosting is ghosting is when you just stop talking to someone.
Naomi Skinner.
I thought there's like a term for when they don't tell when they trick them. I used to see it on World Star where they'd get in fights in parking garages.
What the fuck? This is terrifying. Look at this person.
Ooh.
Yeah, you got clumped. I love that movie. Not the second one, but the first Nutty Professor is great.
I thought you were gonna say Meet the Clumps, dude.
No, that's the second one.
Anna LaBelle, Catherine Katie Newhouse, Kenyatta Kesha.
First Nutty Professor is great.
Mia Parker, Ariana Mitchell, Fern Feather, Ray
Fern Gully,
Nedra Sequence Morris, Chanalika Iela D.
Having this nerdy white guy fucking say these like ridiculous black names and like this somber voice is just so fucking like beyond.
Just fucking ridiculous.
Oh, we'll watch Norbit on stream sometime.
Your Hemingway, Sasha Mason, Brazil Johnson, Chaminade Giselle Marie.
These were all prostitutes.
Monroe.
Are they right?
If they had to have been, and they were all killed by black men. Every single one of them.
Like what?
I guarantee you.
Asia Richmond, Keshia Chanel.
Yeah.
And it had nothing to. Whoa! Cherry Butch. This is just some homeless guy.
Dude. Is this a troll?
This is a junkie.
Did somebody troll him in a Discord? Was he saying I'm looking for? Did he go into a Discord and say I'm looking for like trans that were killed last year? Da, 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 and somebody's just like, yeah, this is my friend Cherry.
Look at this one. This one. Weird Al Yankovic.
Castro. Hayden Davis. Candy Red. Aaron Lynch.
That's probably
These have to be trolls.
Hoffman.
That's got to be a troll.
Maya Allen.
They're all
AC Morrison.
Zach Morrison.
Samaj Billingsley.
Yeah.
Samaj. Soldier Boy.
Yeah. Big Tibby.
Tiffany Banks.
Tiffany Banks. That's Fresh Prince, right?
Daniel
Yes. Oh, she was fine. She was fine, dude.
I never was attracted to her for some reason.
I was. And I think it was because she was very uptight. I don't know.
Tortuguita.
She was very unattainable.
Maria Jose Rivera. Sachi Imanitwitahu.
Mask. What's Mask? Like the movie with Cher. Like Rodney. I don't know. I blew it. Never mind.
Casey.
I know what you're talking about.
Is the rest of this just
Star?
Oh, okay. It'd be funny if like
these names don't even begin to address the issue of suicide, a growing concern.
For
those aren't even the funniest names.
Trans people, especially trans youth, as the future they saw for themselves is ripped away from them.
They didn't even know this was going to be a future until 3 years ago.
Trans youth wasn't a thing 10 years ago. Maybe for 0.0001% of children who have like legitimate body dysmorphia. Which is a mental illness that has to be treated.
Yeah, it's got to be like extremely crazy, like that.
In which they're forced to live a life that brings them pain.
That's got to suck, and it probably has nothing to do with gender, dude. You know what I'm saying? It probably more has to do with like just not seeing. It's probably just like you look in the mirror and something weird feeling comes over you.
Yeah.
It probably has nothing to do with your sex, your gender. It probably just has something to do with when we see ourselves, it's just normal, and when they do, it freaks them out. I don't fucking know.
Take me seriously. Chet, stop focusing on that weird hooded Fozzie Bear that is creeping in the background.
With that future.
The R2-D2.
Yes.
Will opt out
Michelangelo.
By means they feel are necessary. We have already seen this play out this year.
Yeah, poor Totoro.
Night.
Oh.
Trans college student isolated by American fixers who returned her to Saudi Arabia, where she was forcibly detransitioned and chose to end her own life. What we are seeing happen in the United States will only result in more deaths. And the people proposing and passing these laws know this. They have been told. They have been told by community.
Don't fucking put it on. I hate that shit. It's so much like it's just emotional blackmail. You know what? Sorry, faggot. I have a daughter and I'm going to do whatever it takes, including fucking killing you, to fucking keep people like you away from her. Sorry. Bye. Bye.
Yeah.
Like, bye.
Community members, parents.
Done. Like, I've been, there's no.
They are not
done.
Ignorant.
Done.
Deaths that will occur. And yet they moved forward because they see the lives of trans people as an acceptable price to pay. And that is me being generous, because the alternative is that these deaths are actually the desired outcome.
And this person has an OnlyFans, by the way.
Well, yeah.
Of course. This is just a fucking pervert. Never forget that. These people are just fucking sex perverts. They're just degenerates.
It's in their bio.
Okay, it is. Everyone knows this, but in case you clip this, I don't think this would get taken off YouTube. But
person, please make your voice heard.
It's just natural, and we've been doing this for thousands of years. You keep children away from people like this
in your area.
Yes, people that are trying to do harm to them. Now it's just like getting more advanced, where the doctor can tell you that, yeah, we need to do this surgery on your kid, and we're going to mutilate it, and you can't do anything about it, and the state's going to take it away.
Lifeline.
That's insane.
Campaign Foundation.
And that's all it is. It's just the state coming into your household and saying you don't have control over your kid.
Well, you know, like with that law in Seattle, where like they'll just like fucking take your fucking kid. If your kid's trying to transition, which isn't a real thing, the fucking state will just come in and fucking take them away from you.
And then yeah, that's good, because they're just going to go into foster care, which is basically organized kidnapping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
It feels gross to do my usual self-promotion at the end of this. You can look down in the description of this video.
You can go see my OnlyFans link in the bottom of
any of my other works.
The description.
Yeah. See me take the...
What's up, lawnmower boomer?
At the start. I didn't want to make...
Crack open a nice frosty monster for us and get settled in. It's going to be a big stream.
And get hyped for Doctor Who.
Wow. Play that back.
JB, play that back.
Geeky nonsense. Ever. I want to talk about geeky nonsense and get hyped for Doctor Who. I don't.
How could anyone get hyped?
Read a fucking book, you fucking loser.
How can anyone get hyped for Doctor Who at this point?
Honestly, Doctor Who is the queerest shit.
Advocate. I truly do not. But in a situation like this, what I want is the wrong perspective.
Yes, the TARDIS.
This is what I can do, and I need to do it. If you've gotten to the end of this video, then I will say to you now, as I always have, that no matter what else is going on.
Nadu. You know, he does the Mork and Mindy. Nadu.
In this country, or the world right now, I need you to remember you are beautiful, you are valid, and you are loved.
What's up, boring stream?
Please take care out there of yourself and of those around you. Be well.
Live long and prosper.
And be kind.
What is the chaotic queers is what it says on the right side? That's the name of his kingdom.